Hello, everybody. Welcome to the GameCon 2021 post show. Hope you had a great time enjoying our pre show and main show. We had a lot of awards go out to some great teams there today. And now we're going to be having a chance to spend a little bit more time with these teams and talk about their games and have a preview of what their games actually are, have them play through. And it's going to be a fun time, a nice and relaxed time. So we hope everyone sticks around to watch all these developers go a little bit more into depth about their games. And coming up first, we will be with Team Jam Packed Interactive, the winners of the Best Art Award, to talk about their game Project Inca. All right, let's welcome our team members here from Jam Packed Interactive. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves once again?
Hi, I'm Marcus again. I'm the artist for Jam Packed Interactive.
Hey, and I'm Miles. Y'all didn't see me before, but I'm the backend programmer slash tools programmer for Jam Packed Interactive.
All right, so you guys won the art award as we saw earlier in the main show, and you guys got a chance to talk about that a little bit. But now we're gonna get to watch you play your game and talk about that. So let's just get right into it and have you guys stream your game for us. All right, and back we are here with Project Inca. So, Miles, Marcus, why don't you guys walk us through your game and talk to us about what it is like to play Project Inca?
Sure. So Project Inca is going to be a 1 to 3 player FPS roguelike that takes place in this ancient Mixtecan temple. Uh, you've seen a few clips of gameplay. Was a little outdated. This is a little bit of a redemption arc for me here,
Yeah.
because the game has changed a lot in the last 20 days since those trailers were put out. So hopefully you get a good look here.
Yeah, as we can see here, this is, I believe, your starting room to the game. We have the amazing Froge, which the textures, I believe, from conversations with you before, these are used multiple times throughout the rooms, aren't they?
They're used everywhere. I use that gold texture on literally everything because I love it. It's also the pattern underneath the uh, platforms, I guess. It's on the pillars, it's in the hallways, it's everywhere.
Yeah, it
Modular
really does look
aspects
great.
really came in
And
handy.
and was it you who worked on all of the environment art, or was it a combination of you and Chris?
For environment art, it was me. Chris handled a lot of the animation stuff, so he's what really brought the game to life. So all the frogs jumping around, the boss fight that you'll see eventually, that's all courtesy of Chris, as well as the cinematic, which we'll play.
Okay, that's awesome. And ooh, it seems like our little Froge buddy is
He's
stuck
having a good
there.
time.
Yeah, he's
It's
having a
fine.
good time.
It's not a
It's
perfect
fine.
game.
Yeah, I know you guys are. You guys still got some time to go. You guys want to go commercial, don't you? You potentially want to be producing this for a little longer and then selling it on Steam or Epic or something like that.
Right, yeah, we're hoping to go through the incubator program this summer and get into venture creation in the fall. So that'll be a good time, I think, for the whole team. We'll have an opportunity to really polish everything. Things like the guns aren't animated yet; they're just kind of moved around in the camera, and that's how the reload and fire and all that happens. So we cut a lot of corners here, and we'll have the time to polish during
Yeah,
the
Yeah,
and
so
eventually, sorry, we eventually also plan to have a multiplayer game, which we unfortunately didn't have time for now, but we're going to be using a proper solution for that, and you'll eventually have 1 to 3 players, and it'll be great.
yeah, so I was just gonna ask as well. You talked about going into the incubator and going into the venture creation course for next year. Like that multiplayer. What are your plans from here on? What are your plans to continue developing and making this game the full vision that you guys see as?
Our next steps is to take a break because everyone's really tired. Then immediately after that, we're
Agreed.
probably going to hop back on, and we want to get. We have a system that we think will make this game really interesting in the form of weapon modifications. So
Oh,
that's a big
yeah, I
system.
forgot. I forgot that's
Yeah,
a system that's going to be a part. You guys also have, I see you guys have the EXP bar at the bottom of the screen, but that's not a system that's working right now either, is it?
that system's not working either, right? So there's going to be a lot of passive upgrades. There's going to be adjustments to the way the weapons work, and adjustments to the way that the floor layout is. So right now it's all just kind of put together manually, but by the time we go commercial, we're hoping for full procedural generation of the room layouts.
And we just saw in that other room that Miles was running through, the wall run room. I wanted to just make it a point that a lot of people that I've seen playing your game have really spent a lot of time in that room. It seems like you guys really got it like pat down for your wall running mechanics. So why don't you tell us just a little bit what it was like developing that wall run?
Sure, I can't tell you too much about it because that was all Matt. He put a ton of time into making sure that the character felt as smooth and as fluid moving in any directions as possible. And I think he
Um,
did a really good job.
Yeah. On the actual mechanic itself, we one of our big problems that we wanted to address, at least with wall running in games, is that a lot of games tend to make wall running feel really bad, whether it be you just jump on the wall and basically just go straight, or there's a number of features that we didn't really like, and so we really wanted to try and base our wall running mechanics off of games that did it really well. Inspiration for us was games like Mirror's Edge, Titanfall, and we think it turned out really well. We think it feels really good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, even when I was playing the game for a little bit, I feel that Titanfall inspiration really there for the wall running mechanics. Titanfall is, of course, known so well for its movement. But I just wanted to ask you guys as well, like, so we see that you're going through the rooms here. You know, it looks beautiful, looks great. That's why you guys won the art award. It's a great looking game. But I just wanted to take a quick second to ask Miles, because I know a big thing that you guys worked on a little bit earlier in production was that procedural room generation. How did that go, and what's the story behind why that was kind of stopped, and what's the plans for that next?
Yeah, so for our procedural room generation, we did originally have or plan to have some sort of procedural generation by GameCon, but we ended up scrapping it, at least for now. Of course, in the final game, we plan to have it, but we've scrapped it for now because we ended up developing a tool that helped us really quickly develop layouts manually and then just switch between them super fast.
Mhm.
And so, because of that, and also we had so much else on our plate, we decided that it would just be better for us to just kind of scrap it because it wasn't like it's not really critical to our minimum viable product. And so that was kind of why we did that. But of course, we definitely want to have it in the future.
Okay. I think we are getting close to our time here with you guys. Again, just wanted to say, awesome job. You guys deserve the award. The art is looking great. I know I want you to see this cutscene and let people enjoy it and let people enjoy the boss fight, because this is absolutely amazing. So I'll just let people enjoy it and we'll go out from there.
Thanks.
All right, that's awesome. So amazed by the work that you and Chris have done and your whole team. I'm so looking forward to what you guys have in store in these next few months and when you eventually end up releasing this game. So thank you guys for coming on, talking to us a little bit more about your game and showing it off. And for those of you who haven't, check out Project Inca on the GameCon website or their itch page. And yeah, thank you guys for joining us. All right, everybody, that was our look at our best art award. But now we're going to be going into our best first years. Our winners this year were C Drive, and they made the game Dear Abigail, a game that takes, I believe, a lot of inspiration for Gris. I may be wrong. I'll have them correct me when they come on real soon. But it's a phenomenal first year game. I'm so excited to speak with them and check it out. So let's have them come in. All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm here with C Drive. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How does it feel to win the first year award? It must be so exciting. Your first year in the program and you're already doing such big things.
Feels pretty fantastic. Winston, would you like to say a little bit more on that as well?
I think it was a pretty good experience getting just to work with like everyone, like trying to combine all the programming, the art, and like all the music together. I think it was a really great thing to see, and like seeing that like the game like gradually build on over and over throughout like the weeks was really cool as well.
Yeah, I'm excited for you guys to show it off. So let's do that real quick and let's get right into it. All right, so this is your game, Dear Abigail. I am so intrigued by this game. This game is so awesome and so impressive for a first year game. One of the biggest things that I wanted to know was, where is the inspiration for this game? Like, where did that come from?
So, interestingly enough, the thing that we hear very often is if it was inspired by Gris, which of course it's very easy to see the parallels with Gris. Interestingly, though, we actually didn't know about Gris until after
Oh,
we started development.
wow, really?
The idea happened independently of Gris, interestingly enough. I was very much inspired with simply my own experiences with grief and difficult, situations in life and navigating through depression. And I thought it would be really interesting. I'm actually a former I'm a psych graduate myself, so I thought it would be really interesting if we could take that kind of experience and use gamification to kind of deliver an experience that kind of draws players in and allows them to feel that emotion themselves and gives them something to connect with on an emotion level, um, something impactful. And later then we found out about Gris having that same idea as well,
Yeah.
and we looked from there to see what we could do to kind of differentiate Dear Abigail from that and kind of see what we could do unique. And one of the big things from the beginning that we wanted to do was the idea of these postcards. The idea that there is a conversation between Abigail and her memories of the person that she's lost.
Yeah, why don't we
And
have
this
you
being
like
represented
play
in those
through?
postcards.
Let's see some of those
Yeah.
postcards. Let's see the awesome art, the awesome music. Let's get right into it. All right, so I got a chance a little bit earlier this morning to play through, and I might add that your animations are so smooth, they're so nice. Why don't you tell me a little bit about the art direction that you guys decided to take for this game?
Art direction was really much, really to the point that we were trying to kind of create a picture of Abigail descending, starting off in kind of this cave environment. It starts off kind of vibrant, and then it goes into more, darker colors or cooler colors as she goes further, kind of trying to reflect her feelings through the art style. So what is it? She's in denial. It looks a little bit more empty. It looks, a little bit more distant and cold. When she's at the beginning, at the cave, things are vibrant. What is it? Things are green. And our idea was kind of to just chart this descent through art. So, did the stream pause for a moment?
No, it's just taking the level is big, so this is a big
Good
level.
old Sprite lib load screens. But yes, so essentially, with the art, we were really trying to reflect that. So, certainly for the animations, we can thank Nathaniel Moore for that. Shout out to him. He did a fantastic job on the art, the background art for this. Additionally, Kira Trinidad, she was our other artist. She is fantastic, and she did all the work for the postcards, the main menu, and such. And what is it? All of our artists kind of really work together to keep this theme cohesive throughout the game.
Yeah, it's that's why you guys got nominated for art as well. That was a big thing. You guys had a really impressive game overall. That's why you guys won the award. But
you.
another question I wanted to ask you guys, like what has your experience been as first years in the program making a game like this, and like did you expect to win the award? Like how does it feel to be, a first year team that's doing such great things like this already?
I think that with how many fantastic entries there were this year, I don't think anybody could really come into this and they think, well, I'm going to get the award. There were just too many fantastic entries this year that really, even getting the award, there are just so many wonderful entries this year that need to be checked out. And I'd say that doing all of this in our current situation has been a challenge, right? So it came to things like, part of how we'd keep on top of things was like we did progress reports every day, right? So we made sure that we were always keeping on top of what everybody was doing and just trying to make sure, certainly in my capacity as a project manager, I was always trying to make sure that we were keeping on the same page and coordinating throughout the whole process. And then beyond that, I would say that it was just kind of taking advantage of the flexibility for scheduling that the current situation afforded. So to kind of minimize the difficulties of not being able to see each other in person.
Yeah, it's really true. Like as a third year going fourth year myself, being online and being in person, it's so different. And for you guys especially, like you guys haven't even had that in-person experience yet. We come from a place of being going from that position to this one. So yeah, like it's really great that you mentioned that. And another thing I wanted to mention that Winston passed a little bit by it now, but you were talking about those postcards earlier, and one of them showed up. I missed the name, I forgot the name, but it's essentially sent to Abigail. Who is this person that's talking to Abigail? I didn't get to play it through fully myself. I want to
Yes.
know what's behind this.
So the person talking to Abigail is her childhood best friend who she has lost, Cecilia. So the postcards are essentially memories from the past. They're these moments where her memories of Cecilia are kind of reaching out to her, and she's communicating with these memories to kind of keep that memory alive of Cecilia and connect with her further even after her passing. So it was something where with the postcards, there was a lot of symbolism that went into a lot of our decisions with this game. And one of the things with the postcards was every time that you complete a level, it's followed by a postcard. And the postcard is meant to actually be juxtaposed with a memory that kind of goes contrary to the theme of the previous level. So, for example, the denial level is followed by a postcard that talks about a time where Cecilia is recounting a moment from their childhood where they went through something extremely difficult and Abigail faced it directly and kind of handled things in that way. It's a moment of Abigail is going through this painful experience, and as she is growing, as she is continuing to navigate through these emotions, she's reflecting on these times that give her strength, these times that remind her how, she has gone through things before, she has experienced pain, and times where she navigated it before, and using that to give her strength to continue as she makes it to each future level.
Yeah, it's honestly it's I'm so like happy to hear so much thought just went behind what you guys wanted to do for this game. Typically with first years, it's you're getting into the flow of things, learning how to actually make your first games, but you guys being able to tie this narrative as well as going on that journey of figuring out what do we do, how do we make games, and making such a great thematic narrative. I'm impressed. There's a reason you
Thanks
guys
so
won
much.
that award. You did a good job. And with that, if there's any other thing you'd like to mention, now's the time.
One thing I'd say I'd really like to mention, I want to turn this over to Winston, our sound design. Winston has done a fantastic job with the sound assets, with the music in this game. Every scene fully grabs you and engages you in the experience that Abigail is feeling, and a large part of that comes from the music. So, Winston, if you could talk a little bit about that process, that'd be great.
A lot of the what I believe that I find that music is pretty underappreciated. I think it gives a scene a color. And because I really wanted to make this game stand out, make it like bring out the art, bring out everything as well as I can. I often talk with the fellow artists and the programmers how the shadow is going to behave, what it's going to look like, how is it going to work, what's this animation going to look like, and I try like attaching all these different sounds, the different music to kind of create that scene that like you're not just kind of in this just bland atmosphere, but rather you're going somewhere, and the music tries to tell a story about that specific place.
Well, as a member of the Game Sound Club, I must say I am very happy that you guys focused on sound. I'm sure Carter is very happy to hear that as well.
Shout
And
outs to
anyway,
Carter.
shout out to Carter. We'll have him soon to talk about sound. I'm sure he'll go deep into it. But with that being said, thank you guys for coming on. Again, props to you guys for winning the first year award. Be proud of yourselves. Celebrate. Have a good evening. Just enjoy the time. Enjoy all the work that you've put in for this game. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what C Drive can make next year.
Thanks so much. This has been a great experience. Thank you so much for having us.
All right, and now the next game we're gonna go over is by far what I think is one of my favorite games in all of GameCon this year. It's the Best Innovation of Design Award. It's going to be Car PG by Harmonic Studios, so let's bring them in. All right, and we're here with Sam from Harmonic Industries. Sam, what's up? How you doing, my man?
I'm doing good. I'm happy to be here at GameCon. I've been enjoying the show.
How does it
Yeah.
feel to win the design award? That's a big feat. That's a big
It,
deal.
it's a huge honor, honestly. Like I saw all the games, saw all their amazing designs, and for our game to be picked for innovation, it's incredible.
It really is. It's and while you guys were making an engine to make
Yes.
an innovative game, that's a big deal. That's awesome that you guys did that. So no more no more wasted time. Let's get right into it. Let's have you stream the game.
All right.
All right, sorry for the hold up, everyone. Just a couple technical difficulties, but wasting no time getting right into it. Sam, why don't you talk to us a little bit about your game? Talk to me about the concept. It's such an interesting
Yeah.
concept.
So, Karpg, it's a turn-based racing game. That kind of came from a joke. When we were floating around, we're like, aren't all racing games kind of turn-based? You know, you go around the turns, and then we're like, no, what if we made it actually turn-based? You know? And so, I've been watching a lot of Fast and Furious, and my teammates have been playing a lot of Slay the Spire, and this is what was born.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
I get the Fast and Furious vibes. The I've talked to you a little bit about it before, but the little menu loop, it's a big
Yeah.
retro Fast and Furious vibe. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's really an interesting idea. There's a reason you won that award. Like obviously, typically racing games are, you play as the racer or the driver, and
Yeah.
um, but like obviously this takes high paced action out of racing. So how did you guys really like, you know, think through the concept of like how do we make this interesting for people?
Yeah. So the first thing we like started with was we have to make it like feel like you're still doing something, right? So we made all these cards to do like the cool racing actions. Cause like I don't know about you, but like when I play racing games, I try to like drift the first few times, and then like I realize I'm terrible at it. I can't do that. I'm not good enough. But like when I see it in the movies, I'm like I want to drift. So you have cards that let you drift, you know? Um, and like that kind of stuff is how we thought it could feel cool still. And yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, the aesthetic also adds to a lot of that. Like, I know the retro aesthetic kind of came late into the production of your game. So, like, why did you guys choose to go with this? Like, what were you trying to achieve with that whole feel?
I think for a long time it was kind of even inspired by like older racing games like Ridge Racer for the PS1, but like we really like this neon aesthetic too. And like for a while it was good, but it wasn't like there was something missing. And then once we threw the pixel filter on at the end, we're like, this is what we needed to kind of tie all of our themes together into something that actually like really makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's actually, yeah, I get that. There's like the pixelation vibe really blends into that like retro feel. And I
Yeah.
got a chance to play your game earlier in the morning today as well. And while I was playing, one thing that I found real interesting was the way that your levels were made. I know they're not the most complex thing out there, because what you guys are focusing on is that like turn-based moving your car forward. But what exactly was the decision behind, okay, you're gonna have to race against this player and you're gonna want to upshift or downshift?
For that, I think we were kind of thinking like it's like it is common in racing games, especially like the really realistic ones, that when you go into a turn, you gotta like, slow down, speed up, so you can not slip out and crash or something. So what we came up with was matching your gear level based on the current obstacle. That's a good way of giving the player a clear goal. Um, that's also something that they can easily do during their turn and still feels like racing.
Yeah, we it really does feel great. And again, you guys have done a phenomenal job. I would love to talk to you for longer, but in light of our technical
Yes.
difficulties and our time constraint, we're gonna have to cut it here. But thank you again, Sam. To your whole team at Harmonic Industries, you guys did a phenomenal job. I'm excited to see what you guys produce in your third year.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Have a good night.
All right, so our next game is the best second year game. As mentioned in the main show, our second year, sorry, had to make their own engine. That's a pretty big deal. Like Sam, we just have, he created his own engine for his game too, him and Harmonic Studios. So let's talk to the best second year winners from Atlas X Games, who made Damn Defense. Let's talk to him. All right, let's welcome our members here from Atlas X Games. What's up, guys? How you doing? How you feeling?
Good,
Hey.
thank you.
So, your game, Damn Defense, best second year award winners. How does it feel to win the award? That's a big thing.
Yeah, we were pretty surprised.
Yeah, it still kind of hasn't hit, honestly.
Yeah, it tends not to hit until later on, but you guys
Yeah.
deserve the award. You guys made an awesome game. And speaking of that awesome game, let's get right into it and let's have you play it. All right, so guys, a big question I have for you because I've play tested your game. I played it today as well. I've loved it since the first time I got to play it. The seagulls. Where did the idea for having the seagulls as an ability come
Okay, so yeah, the seagulls, the bird bomb as we officially call it, that actually came like directly from class, specifically Samantha's animations, algorithms, and techniques class. The one day we covered Boyd behavior, and the like that same week we had a team meeting and we were like, what if we did this but made them attack for you? And the actually the having the birds in the game is just a justification for the bird bomb in the first place. Like the ability and the idea to have birds at all came at the same time.
I love it, so I just had to ask about it because it's so much fun just to see the seagulls swoop down and kill the ships. Yes, right there, that. I love
Yes.
it. But one thing I wanted to ask you guys as well, because of course you're second years. How was it making your engine? How was it to create that while being online?
Yeah, it was definitely pretty difficult. It took a lot of coding. We had to rewrite major parts of it several times, particularly this semester. I think I rewrote the render loop probably 4 times.
As it goes.
But it was a very fun experience. Definitely learned a lot, and like before this, I don't think I would have understood like why you would do a custom engine instead of something like Unity. But actually having had the chance to like do all of the OpenGL coding and stuff, I see the freedom that gives. And
Yeah,
how that could benefit
I remember
something.
that. Oh,
Yeah, sorry.
my bad. My bad if I'm interrupting. I'm just having a little lag on my side, but that's all good. But another thing I wanted to ask you guys about was, is this game inspired by Battleship?
No, I don't believe it was. I'm not actually sure if we had any particular inspiration. Um, the idea really was, what if we make a tower defense game in first person?
That, yeah, I didn't think about it that way. That's a great point. But why did you guys decide to go with like the cannons and the whole battleship feel then?
Um, it was something that just kind of came out as we like did the art and slowly made the game. We thought that defending a dam would have been a kind of cool setting, and we were originally the original idea was actually to defend it from toy boats, like it was some sort of like water playground thing, but it slowly evolved into like the fending off the invading army as
Yeah.
the assets were made.
That's awesome. That's cool. And one more thing that I wanted to ask you guys was, where did this concept really bloom from? Like, making an engine obviously as tough of as a thing as it is on its own, but what inspired you guys to go in this direction to take this route?
Um, our original idea was a very different game. Like very different, not even resembling this at all. We were basically told right away that was not in scope. We could do it if we wanted to, but we're heavily advised against it. So we basically had to go back to the drawing board, and we basically just continued throwing ideas at each other until we came up with this. And this was something we all agreed that we liked. And then from there, it just kind of evolved naturally as things were made and implemented.
Yeah, scope is definitely a big issue within our team. I remember my second year, we aimed real high for our game as well, so I get the feeling on that one. But I had a great time playing it. It's genuinely such a fun game, and I'm excited to see what you and your team do next year. If you got any final comments, thoughts you want to tell the people, let them know. Floor is yours.
Yeah. Great work to all of the other teams as well. I haven't gotten a chance to play all of the games, but what I have played has been awesome. Yeah, thank you.
All right, and thank you guys for playing your game with us. Check them out on the GameCon website on their itch page. And yeah, that's Dam Defense by Atlas X Games. All right, and our next award winner that's going to showcase their game is JPEG Studios. They created Mecha Mayhem, and they are the winners for the Best Tech Award. So let's waste no time and let's get them right in here. All right, what is going on, JPEG? How are you guys doing?
Good.
Doing good, yeah.
That's That's good to hear. You guys won the best tech award. That's a big deal. Making your own engine is no easy task in second year, especially being online, as I've talked about with the other second year teams as well. So, what was your experience? How was that like? How do you feel winning this tech award?
It feels nice. I
Yeah.
am really happy with all the work that was done. Something that I really liked about us being online was it really made it easy for everyone to share like things they've done about their engine in the GW chat on the Discord server, which I don't know how much we would have done if we were in person. So that definitely made the experience a lot different.
That is true. The Discord server does help a lot with communicating, especially this year. All right, so let's get right into it, and we'll have you guys stream your game and talk a little bit about it.
Right.
All right, so this is your game, Mecha Mayhem.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the concept. Where'd the idea come from? What was put into the concept of the game?
So one of our teammates brought up a older game, another split screen arena brawler where you were playing as cars. It was, I think, San Francisco 2049. It's a really old game, and we really like the idea of that split screen couch party game, especially because it's something that we could do in second year. And so we thought we didn't want to just rip the idea, so let's just do robots instead of cars. And then Mecha Mayhem became the name.
That's awesome. Yeah, the couch co-op is definitely not something that you see as often these days. So it's cool for you guys to do that. But let's get right into it. Let's see what you guys have to show off for the game.
The main menu actually has a little bit of juice, so the left and right sticks can help you move it around, and then you just press A.
Yeah.
That just has a little animation that leads to the player lobby. Oh, so right now 2 players are logged in. They can press B to change out. So just press B to show. Yeah. We can have up to 4 players, and there's a total of 5 character models, and you can also overlay a color over them, which is used when multiple players have the same model, mainly. So for now, just choose one
Sorry,
of the
go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
We also chose to do a proper lobby system. So if Matthew presses A, you can see that all the UI around of his character goes away. And that signifies that he's confirmed his character. Once all players have confirmed their character, we can actually start the game where any player will start, like most fighting games. There's also 2 game modes, time mode, where you can have like the length of the match set there, as well as the amount of, or you can do killed mode, where you can set the amount of score you got to reach. And it can toggle between the 2. And that was an interesting thing to have to add.
Yeah, so of course you guys won the tech award this year, and like I mentioned earlier, winning the tech award is no small feat. Making engine, super big deal. So why don't you tell me a little bit about like your engine, what went into making your engine as great as it is?
I guess for starters, Matthew can start the match, and I'll talk over the first few minutes of gameplay, since not too much happens then. So the first thing we learned of is, well, like how to make the rendering part, and we had to think of how we were going to do split screen, since that's something we wanted. So we did some research on that, and we rewrote how we learned to do rendering to support it. It's lagging a lot on my end.
Yeah, it seems as if the screen share might be laggy, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Even if people can't see what it's like, they can go and download your game and play it, right?
They can.
It's probably just because of parsec and the camera and everything.
Yeah, a lot of.
So So is it you two playing together right now, or what's going on there?
Matthew's playing with one of our other team members in the background who's on this voice chat through Parsec. We didn't learn much about networking, which is something we are kind of sad we couldn't get, but Parsec has been a good enough alternative, though sometimes it causes lag, like what's being seen here.
Yeah, networking is something I'm sure that you, Jonathan, will love doing next year. It's definitely a time in third year. But one thing I wanted to ask you guys about your game was that obviously it's a multiplayer game, and you have multiple people playing it. So I know you guys did a bunch of playtesting sessions. How was it like balancing your game and making sure it was just right for people to play and enjoy themselves?
It was interesting. One thing I am really glad about is that during our development, we made sure to make all of the things such as like weapon stats and the timers for the dash and the amount of ammo in each gun and any of those things very easy to edit through the use of like structs and stuff like that. Making sure all of it's easy kept.
Yeah, a really impressive thing about your game is that you guys have managed to get a lot of juice and polish into there after the fact, and it's looking really solid. And I just wanted to ask, like, you know, what was the idea behind essentially polishing up the game? Like, what was the feel and look that you guys were trying to go for?
So we were really focusing our look on what we were actually able to do. So one example is because of the limitation of how we were modeling the map, since we modeled the map in Hammer, which is the CSGO editor, we were a bit limited on how we could get the visuals in. So since everything was going to be low poly in the map, let's not try to over detail our characters or over detail any of the other things, trying to keep it simple. That's how that came about.
Oh, it's interesting that you say that that's where you designed your level. Why'd you guys decide to do that instead of using, you know, something like Blender?
It was what our level designer was most comfortable with, and it also allowed it to be very easy to UV the entire thing. Because, as you can tell, we have a lot of scrolling textures around, which are really hard to model yourself.
That is true. One thing I also wanted to mention was that you talked about it a little bit earlier. Your moving main menu screen. Whose idea was that? Because that looks really cool.
I think it came about as we were doing one of our line components when we had to write the Catmull path follower, and we realized, hey, we can make this work. Let's just slap the main menu info on that Catmull path thing that we wrote, and then bam, it just came out as it did, and we really liked it.
Yeah, oh, sorry, go ahead.
And then other juice was just added as people discussed, like, hey, you know, it'd be cool if you can do X thing. And so we added it.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really turned out well. You guys deserve the award. You put hard work into it. You know, be proud of yourselves. And if there's anything else you want to mention and talk about with the game, feel free.
There's not much I have to say, and it is good to note that the match is ending soon. You can see the timer says 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And it looks like Matthew kind of went real hard on Leo, who's on the receiving end of the laggy parsec, which was sadly the worst experience of the playtest.
All right, and with that, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for showing your game off.
Thanks.
You know,
there is the leaderboard screen that we have that would appear once the game ends. So
oh, okay, yeah. Let's take a look at that real quick.
So we have a little cue when the game over ends, and we apply a color correction cube over the screen. Then we change to this scene. And it was lagging. We have an animation where the digits appear one by one, and then they sort themselves into the order of whoever got first place to last.
Again,
as well shows the model of the winning player. Yeah.
Impressive stuff. I'm not surprised you guys were able to do something as cool as this. So yeah, thank you guys for joining us once again, and enjoy the rest of your night, and be proud of yourselves that you guys won the Best Tech Award.
Thank you.
All right, and now we're going to be talking about our best third year award by Twin Crow. Their game is Dustbound. If you guys haven't seen it yet, the year that I'm in, third year, so jealousy, but these guys deserve the award. So let's bring them in and talk to them about their game. All right, what is up, Twin Crow? How are you guys doing?
We're doing
Doing
okay.
good. Just a little tired as usual, but we got this.
Yeah, you have expressed that many times today. I'm sure you have been grinding away and working on your game, but all has been worth it. Y'all won best third year. Y'all deserve the award. But how does that feel? What did you guys expect to win? Like, what's going through your heads?
I wasn't mentally prepared to win awards today. I'm still processing that like we won best third year. I wasn't expecting it to happen.
Yeah,
Honestly,
it's a
me
big
neither.
thing.
But it's crazy we won, and I'm super proud of my whole group. You know, we put in a lot of work, a lot of improvement this year, and it's great that we got rewarded. So thanks a bunch.
Yeah, you guys don't gotta thank us. Y'all put in the work. You'll get the reward that you deserve. So let's go into the game and see what you guys made.
All
All
right,
right,
sweet.
here we
Okay.
have. Tell us about it.
All right. So Dustbound is a third-person roguelike action-adventure game where you go through the desert and you fight enemies and look for stuff. Currently, we are in our little like pit stop or rest stop scene where you can take your money and you can use that to spend. You can buy stuff from the shop itself to use for surviving the desert.
Yeah, that's awesome. Speaking of the desert, because that's where
Mhm.
your game takes place, one of the interesting mechanics that you guys have in your game is the heat stroke mechanic.
Hmm.
It's honestly such an original idea. It's so creative. Like, what was the thinking that went behind that? Like, where did that idea come from, and why did you guys decide to go forward with that?
The heat stroke mechanic was birthed from the idea of so we wanted to make a roguelike game, but we realized that in the roguelites that in the most of them that end up happening, they're like you like the ones that try to make you have like a sense of urgency to continue through the game. Like the only game that there was that did that was Risk of Rain 2, and they did that by scaling up the enemies. But I figured, like the team figured that we want something where like we let the player explore, but we also give them like a sense of urgency as they make their way through the level. So as they are forced to play faster, they'll make more mistakes if because they're going to be making more rash decisions, and it would make the gameplay itself more exciting overall.
Yeah, it really does make you feel like you want to speed up and like get through the game. And I got to play at one of your playtest sessions, and it was a great time. And I haven't got to play today yet, unfortunately, but it looks like you guys have made a lot of progress since then. Like, what has the last week been like for you guys in terms of making changes?
Last week, so since the playtest night that was on Monday leading up to this, it has been incredibly brutal because because there were a bunch of new additions we had to put into the game on top of surviving the week's worth of assignments. The largest changes that we've made was we've added a lot of new different behaviors and phases to the boss fight itself. And we did a lot of the rebalancing that was suggested during the playtest, and we went around and started hunting down a bunch of like the more prominent bugs, such as like the stun lock bug that we had.
Yeah, that was definitely a game-breaking thing to go through, but I'm glad you guys solved it. And one thing I wanted to also ask you was that obviously, you know, you guys are up here for being the best overall third-year game. You guys have amazing art. You guys have some amazing gameplay. You guys have some amazing concepts, you know, and a design of a game. Like, what was it like, kind of like, you know, all of you guys being in different disciplines, merging that together and kind of having this, you know, overall cohesive game now?
It was honestly quite a challenge because at the start of development, when the original game idea was pitched to the entire team, um, there were quite a few members in the team who had no experience with roguelikes, like, you know, third person games, or like just games that are in this general genre. And those were the people that would have been expected to, you know, create a lot of like the core functions of the game. So between me, Druva, Hunter, our lead programmer, and like for the rest of the team, we spent a lot of time talking to each other, figuring out what needed to be done, how we wanted it to be done. An example of that is our third person camera, which was, I think it was a 4-person effort over the span of like 2 months, but at the end it was worth it. The third person camera itself is really nice to use, and I think all of our work, like at least on that front, was justified.
Yeah, it really has been. Again, you guys deserve that award. You put hard work in. And one quick thing I also wanted to ask, you guys were a nominee for the best art award as well. As you can see, the game is clearly beautiful. So Druva, tell me a little bit about like the art, the kind of style and theme you were going for behind this.
Yeah, so originally when or at least when we thought of the game, we wanted to do realistic because over the summer I was like practicing sculpting, you know, proper texturing, UV mapping and all that. So we wanted to do realistic originally, but then thought it was not the best idea because of time. So then I started looking at how to do stylized, right? And you know, I got a lot of help from Gavin, Mike, and I started looking at games like Darksiders and Gunfire Reborn to see how they did their texturing and like their art style, right? So that's how that came about. And then in terms of all the VFX and stuff, I had to like pick that up quickly from just videos. And yeah, it's basically how our art style was born.
Well, the art style is amazing. That it's really awesome, man. Props to you. Props to your whole team. You guys have done a great job. You deserve this award. I'm still a little jealous. I'm still a little spiteful. So, of course, I want our team to win the award, but you guys put the work in. You deserve it, and you know, be proud of yourselves. You guys really did some awesome stuff this year.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thanks for spending a little bit of time with us, talking more about your game, and yeah, everyone go check out Dustbound on the GameCon website and their itch page. And yeah, once again, thank you for spending the time with us, guys.
Yep. Thanks.
Thank
Mark,
you.
very much.
All right, and now we're going to be going over the game that won this year's Best Sound Award. This is a game that has done sound on all levels when it comes to music, when it comes to SFX. It's something that's truly underappreciated within our industry. And the winners of this year's award was Sedna Games, of course. So we'll be inviting them in and talk to them a little bit more about what that was like. All right, so we're gonna welcome this team that I have absolutely no idea who these guys are because I'm totally not on this team. Sedna Games, welcome. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Anthony. I'm lead programmer on Set the Games. I did networking and a bunch of, programming stuff on the game.
And I'm Carter Maneri. I am the lead sound designer, or I'm the sound designer, and I'm the composer. If you hear it, I did it, and that's what I contributed to the game.
And that's why we're here today for this award. So, without further ado, let's stream the game. All right, so this is Earthlight because I know absolutely nothing about this game. Why doesn't one of you tell me what Earthlight is? Where did this idea come from? What is this about?
Sure. So Earth's Light is a game about four animal companions who are trying to save the world. Basically, we saw the opportunity to collaborate with the Toronto Zoo, and we took it. So they wanted us to do a game about climate change issues affecting Canada. And so we did a little research and we made an action adventure around that idea of the different climate change issues in the different environments in Canada. Our main inspirations were actually a project by our game designer that he had in the summer that he was thinking of doing. That's why it ended up being a third-person action adventure.
Yeah, I wonder who that game designer guy is. He must
Wonder
be
who he
pretty cool,
is.
huh?
No
Yeah, he must be
idea.
a pretty cool guy from what I've heard. He's a pretty awesome guy. But
Yeah.
we're here because, of course, I was gonna say you guys. We won the sound award. So Carter, Rant Man, I'm gonna let you take the floor away. What was it like just making the music, making the sounds, and making this like beautiful, beautiful ambience, and as we're hearing right now on the Arctic level?
Oh god. Much like the music in this game, the answer to that question is layers. That was a really good answer, Dave.
That's
But
a great
like,
answer.
honestly, it's all about just realizing and thinking about how many things need to be happening all at once. So right from the beginning, we were like, okay, we want to set the atmosphere of the levels. And how do you do that? You do that with ambient sounds. So I was like, okay, start with base ambient sounds like wind rustling leaves and stuff in the other level. Or for this level, you get the waves lapping against the ice, or the big windstorm at the beginning of the level. That dies down as you exit through that kind of opening. So from there, then it's into the music, which changes as you play the game, as you'll probably notice. Which, you know, everything's built in chunks too. I don't want to go overboard on this answer, but basically it's all about just figuring out everything that needs to be playing or everything that should be making a sound and find the sound for it. And just with enough layers, it just builds up the world, I guess.
Yeah, I think another important thing to ask is like of course with there's different music that we won't unfortunately hear right now with the wetlands level, and there's something else for the Arctic, and so what was kind of your like process in essentially creating those atmospheres and feelings for the specific environments?
Oh man, that is such a good question. Um so
Love your questions.
like I said, oh yeah, you've been a great host tonight.
Oh,
But like
thank
I
you.
said during earlier in the stream, I did mention that I'm really into progressive rock and that sort of thing, and just a lot of experimental stuff. So I really wanted to drive home that level of experimentation, but keeping it kind of, you know, keep the same vibe across all the levels. So a lot of it's written in either the same key or similar keys. I usually like to stick around like D minor, or D Lydian, if for the music people out there, is the specific minor key I use. So a lot of it's in that, but the instrumentation changes throughout or between the two levels is really what sets them apart, I think. And a lot of that was honestly informed just by kind of feeling, I guess. Like for the Arctic level in particular, since you have the visual of it and you can hear it hopefully, a lot of it just came from the idea that the Arctic and the tundra up north, everything's super cold, super desolate, it's very empty and airy. So when I was thinking of that, I was like, okay, what's empty and airy and just kind of very wide open sounding? Okay, big like synth pads, so I'll throw down some of those, throw on way too much reverb, and just go from there. And it happened to work. And similarly with the wetlands level, I was like, okay, it's full of life, it's bustling, and it's kind of calm and serene. So what kind of thing would I do there? And a lot of my mind went to just acoustic guitar, so that is pretty prominent on that track. But again, a lot of it, Winston actually brought this up earlier, it's about telling a story, and it's about really matching the design of the game and the intent that you want to get across to the player with the emotion of the music.
I would add more, but I literally don't think I can. That was a great answer.
Thank you.
And one thing I also want to ask about, and also low-key because I want it to get out there about our game, is the collaboration with the Toronto Zoo. That's kind of a special and big thing about the game here. Is you know, something different that another GDW team hasn't done before. We see it in capstones, but in GDW that's not really a big thing. So how's that process kind of been, and what's that been like in terms of working with the zoo and trying to create a game that follows in line with what they want?
Ooh, well,
oh,
you want to take it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure this is all new to you, Hamraj.
Oh, very, very new. I've never heard of it before.
Oh yeah, but when we were initially talking about the story, a lot of it was just around the idea of like, okay, let's get endangered species and kind of highlight what is causing them to be endangered, or what's causing any habitat loss, and you know, and just go from there and really showcase the environments that the animals were in. And initially we started off, wasn't really linked to Canada at all.
No.
Oh no, you're gonna fall.
I'm gonna fall.
Oof.
No.
But it wasn't really linked to Canada at all, or well, it wasn't linked to Canada. So after a bit more discussion with the Toronto Zoo and a bit more communication on that part, we really narrowed it down to, okay, we want to do Canadian habitats and Canadian animals, and it would be nice if all these animals were at the zoo as well. And as well, we were given the opportunity to go to see these animals, which was really cool, and it really helped with a lot of the direction of the game. Like Jeremy, the artist or the character artist on the game, a lot of his work was really driven by that experience there, which is awesome. So I don't know, this opportunity was really cool, and it really not just allowed us to get some cool experiences with collaborating with a third party, but it really helped us in terms of, I don't know, spreading the word of environmental awareness and highlighting some things that people might not be too aware of on a day-to-day basis. So
Yeah, for
definitely some
sure.
good stuff there.
I would love to ask you guys more questions because we all can talk about our game forever. But
Oh yeah.
Of course.
it has been a great time, and we got to move on. But once again, congrats on the Sound Award. Congrats to us, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, deserved award. Hard work was put into it. Happy for you guys. Happy for me. Happy for the team. And yeah, it's been great. I'm excited to see where this game goes from here and to see what it comes out of once it's fully deployed. So thank you guys for being here.
Oh yeah. Thank you,
No
man.
problem.
All right, and the next game that we are going to be going over is the best fourth year award winner. So these fourth year guys don't have a GDW class. They're all on their own to work within their capstones, their incubators. They've got complete freedom, no restrictions. And our winner was Sobek Games with the Camped. And so let's waste no time and get to talking with them and see what they have to say about their game. All right, what's up, Sobek Games? How you guys doing?
Pretty
Doing
good, pretty good.
That's good to hear. So decamped. It's just straight into it. What an amazing game! Like, tell me a little bit about it. What was going on behind that?
Yeah, I guess I'll take over this. So again, like it was just an incubator project at first, but we really wanted to like, okay, you know what, let's do a little bit something more, right? So we had this like vision for it to be like this full length short game that we knew like something was doable for us, something that we could show off like in fourth year, like when we're done, a good portfolio piece, and then at the end of it, like hopefully show to everyone else, and they can live this narrative experience that we've crafted for the players. And honestly,
Yeah,
yeah, just
I think we also we wanted to make sure that it was something we could get done before we graduated, because once we graduate, obviously people go separate ways. So that's kind of the reason why it's so short. Like the demo is what you can play now, and the full game is probably only going to take about an hour and a half to 2 hours to complete. So it's short and sweet, but I think we're proud of what we made.
Yeah, it's definitely something to be proud of. So let's just get right into it and have you show off this amazing game to the people.
Okay, so to start this off here, there is a cutscene at the beginning, and you might not be able to hear the audio, but to give context, basically on the rate you'll hear its radio saying that there's been a massive storm in the city. So with that in
All
mind,
right.
we
So,
started.
one thing I wanted to ask you guys was that you guys have a lot of artists on your team, which is, it explains why your game looks so phenomenal. But with 5 artists on your team, what has it kind of been like in terms of splitting the work and figuring out what each artist on your team is really doing?
Well, there's a little bit of a miscommunication on that. We actually only have basically 3 artists and basically only 2 artists. So 2 of us are doing all the art, most of the art you see, and then we also have Shy, who does concept art and some of the smaller things around.
Mhm.
So for the most part, it was myself and Jess who did all the art in the game. And I would say the biggest challenge for that is keeping a cohesive style. Of course, there's a lot of things to get put into this game, and obviously one person's not going to be able to do all of it. So switching from level to level, we really needed it to be the same style the entire way. So that was a little bit of a struggle, but if I wake up here, like everything you see here, Jess did. This is all Jess. All the foliage, trees, everything like that is all Jess, and then I did more of the bigger buildings and hard surface areas.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, regardless, it makes it all the more impressive now knowing that it wasn't 5, it was 2 of you. But one thing I really want to ask you guys what you guys were is that usually with games in 4th year, 2nd year, any year really, a big thing is that a lot of games struggle to really be fully finalized and fully complete, and this is actually a game that you guys are going to release on Steam. And so one thing I just wanted to ask about was that, like, what's that process really been for you guys in terms of being like, okay, this is a game that we want to be out there in the world for people to play, for people to buy.
Yeah, so we kind of first started thinking about it like short term because we first started in the summer, right? We were like, okay, we need to get something in 4 months, like a good demo to kind of showcase the game off, which is this entire level. We pretty much got that done from May to August, from concept to like finalization. And kind of like as we were finishing up, we were like, okay, where do we kind of want to go from here? We know we have school in the semester and everything. We have a lot of assignments and all that to do, but we want to make sure that we still get like all the narrative stuff across, all and that's something like reasonable and manageable. So we kind of just told ourselves, okay, let's kind of divvy up everything where we're gonna take this like one step at a time. So like in the winter, we kind of focused on like the next level, which was our subway level, and then we kind of like judge depending on the pace we're going and the assignments we were getting, or like, okay, let's like slow down a bit or let's pick up the pace. And then that kind of worked out the best for us. We pretty much we did task management mostly on Trello and everything, but it was really great for us to kind of like keep track of where we're going and what we might need to like cut down on. Obviously we had like bigger scopes and like some stuff didn't make it in, some stuff like did and everything, but it was mainly a process of, okay, let's we can do this, but we don't have enough time for that, but we'll make sure to get like the main stuff in, essentially.
So a sort of follow up to that is that you talked a lot about being able to understand and manage how much work you guys could and couldn't do throughout periods in the semester, and so what has it kind of been like, without really having a game like sorry, not a game, a course like GDW to push you to you guys used to have those review dates, you had deadlines. What has it been like to make sure that you guys kind of stay on the timeline of releasing and making the fully finished product?
Yeah, so a lot of what we did, we have like bi-weekly or weekly meetings every like Thursday. We made sure we had like sprint goals and everything, and we never really did reviews like that, but we always had like a vision for what we wanted. And every like week we'd ensure like, okay, so this is looking right. Maybe we could do something different with this. And for the most part, I think even stepping away from those meetings with GDW has freed the vision a little bit, because we're always constantly we're not back in GDW. We constantly thought about, oh, like we have to make sure this is in so that like this prof would be happy, or like where like someone's happy with that. But now it's just more like we want to be happy with what we want, and so we want to make sure that the player is also happy. So we kind of like limited ourselves in that sense, but also like we're free.
Just
And-
to add on to that too, I think we were very consistent. Even there were weeks where we did basically nothing, virtually nothing, but we still met and talked about the game and talked about what the next steps were going to be. And it would be okay if, say, I didn't do something one week. It wasn't going to like affect the game, because we still had an idea of what everyone was doing and where everyone was.
Yeah, it's awesome to hear that you guys really kept up the pace and kept going and wanted to really have a finished product. I know, typically speaking, it's hard to continue to find that drive and motivation to really have a product like this. And I also wanted to ask about the concept, about the game itself, because it's a really interesting kind of take. It's different from what you would see teams within the program typically do. So what was the thinking behind that?
Yeah, so essentially, like like you said, in like the second year, third year, we were all focused on, okay, we need to make sure this is like as like action packed as possible. We really want to make showcase games, But when we were going into fourth year, now that we had that freedom, we kind of just stepped back and like, you know what, let's do something different. We want to do something narrative based. We wanted something that would have like a bit of a social impact, and we kind of look towards games like The Last of Us. You can see that game very heavily inspired our aesthetics, with the foliage growing everywhere, like the abandoned setting. But essentially, we just hunkered down, and yeah.
Yeah, it's great to see. Honestly, I am ready to buy your game. I don't know if you guys have a pre-order available, but
You can wishlist it on Steam right now.
I
actually.
will after this. I definitely will wishlist it. Everyone else, make sure to go wishlist Decamped on Steam.
Yeah,
It really is a great game. Oh,
it might
yeah,
not
go
seem
ahead.
like a
Sorry.
lot. No, I was gonna say it might not seem like a lot, but wishlists do help us a lot. Even like following us on Twitter, just something small. And of course, if I believe I mentioned this before, but if you guys did want a chance to win a key, I left a form link in. I don't know if it's in the chat anymore, but it would be in the showcases for channel. Yes, and then you guys can sign up over there, and we'll be giving away a couple of keys because we love all of you. So, I want to make sure we're representing all of you good.
Yeah, well, it's awesome to see. Again, great demo, guys. Good work. Keep it up. Hopefully, the actual release and everything goes successful for you. I'm gonna make sure to pick up my copy and wishlist that. So, thank you guys for sharing your time with us. And
Thank you very much.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, and we have our final award of the night. GameCon is almost coming to a wrap. What a time it has been. But last but not least, we're going to go over our Player's Choice Award. This is what the people voted for. This is what they enjoyed the most. Business of Bandits by Damnatio Studios. So let's have them come right in. All right, what's up, Damnatio? Player Choice Award winners. How's it going?
Feeling honored, very, very honored to be the player's choice this year. Um, you know, again, it means so much to us that people enjoyed our game. Uh, yeah, sure we all know that feeling. But
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to play it earlier today, but I've been lucky enough to see to our production, and everyone loves those ferrets, man. There's no guess why people love that game. The ferrets are great. So talking about those ferrets, let's have you stream your game, and we'll see those cute little things. All right, so this is Business of Bandits. I already see the ferret on the screen and I'm already loving it. Please tell me why you guys decided to make the game about ferrets.
Well, we had mentioned earlier in the stream that we were basing it off of the idea of the Toronto Zoo. We were thinking of an animal game to do, and then we thought about the one group member in our group that really liked ferrets, and we all sort of fell in love with the idea of ferrets going around a room and just stealing everything. Specifically because of a video that Dan brought up, that was the video that we showed at the end of all of our the reviews.
for context, for those who haven't seen it, it's a video where a ferret has stolen a selfie stick, and so it's just a camera pointed at like the ferret with this giant oversized stick in its mouth, and it's running away, and it's
Yeah, it really is a cute video. That was like, not to make the rest of your review presentation seem boring or anything, but that was the highlight of every presentation, seeing that video at the end of the ferrets. It was really great. And so, for those of the people who don't know that are watching, your game is a party game. You know, it's meant to be played with up to 4 people. And so exactly what was the thought behind like how you guys wanted to design it? Obviously you had that inspiration idea. What if ferrets were stealing things? But how did you take that and turn it into what Business of Bandits is?
So for one thing, we wanted our game to be, part of it comes from how we scoped ourselves. We wanted our game to be manageable, to build in the time that we had, and we wanted our mechanics to shine through and to be polished enough that it would just feel good to play. And so we decided early on to do a party game because we essentially we wanted our game to be a game that's like, a bit more casual, and the kind of game that when people are sitting around in a Discord server, like, oh man, what should we do? Oh, let's play a few games of Business of Bandits, and like have a good time.
Yeah, and you mentioned your mechanics and making the game feel real good. If we hop into it, I know something that everyone loves is the little swiggity swiggity that the ferrets do when they're moving around. Are those animations like who made those animations, or how did that work really?
So here we have our wiggling butts.
Dan, I think your server is. I just couldn't connect.
Oh, I just started it just to
that's fine.
go forward with it. So the wiggling bots was pardon the pun, but it was a bit of a pain in the butt to get just right. And we tried a lot of different things that I think I mentioned before, like we tried different joint setups, We built a custom ragdoll, which didn't work. But at the end of the day, what we have is a spine on our skinned mesh, and I'm just moving around uh, the the joints and setting the joints to look at the previous joint that comes before it. Now with parenting, it kind of became a bit of a complicated ordeal, but I think that we really got it to a point where it's almost perfect, and it really gives that kind of fluid motion, that cute feel that we wanted for our ferrets.
Yeah, I think one of the big things that, like, you guys were, as you mentioned, obviously going for was that cute feel, and of course it started with the ferrets. Ferrets are adorable. But one thing you guys also have here is the little customizations that you can make on the ferrets. You got the little hats, you got the wings that you can make. Like, who came up with that idea? Like, what was the kind of thought behind, like, let's put a hat on a ferret, a top hat?
That
No,
that
go
was
ahead.
actually that was actually an idea that came to us at the very beginning, and we were talking about the if Dan looks at the front of the ferret, you can see that the fur pattern has uh like a little goggles on it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we were looking at, is it the black-footed ferret? Uh, their fur pattern made them look like little bandits. So when we were thinking about the whole theme of the game, which stealing items like ferrets actually do in real life and bringing them to their nest, uh, we thought that it would be cute if we put actual just bandanas around them. And then when we were thinking about that, we expanded on it, like, let's do a whole cosmetic system for it. We can make it DLCs and stuff. But
Thinking about that monetization, even in the early stages.
it's like the first day we started talking about that.
Yeah,
Um,
it really turned out well. It's cute. It's awesome. I love it. Clearly, the people love it. It's why you won the Player's Choice Award. And one more little final thing I wanted to ask you guys was, oh, I'm losing my train of thought here. Oh no. Okay, you know what? Since I'm losing my train of thought, I shall embarrass myself no further. You tell me, what are your thoughts? What do you want the people to know about this game? If the people voted for this game, what are you most glad about that people enjoy about your game?
Um, I mean, the thing that's the most satisfying to me, at least, is that like pretty much everyone's gut reactions are pretty much like everything that we put at the beginning, like on our mood board of what we want people to say, was what they were saying. Like, that they love the ferrets and that they like the little wiggling butts, and it's a little hard to see, but we added like small details, like they've got little beans on their
The
on their
the
little
toe
feet,
bean.
like the little animal toe beans. And just like having small details like that, the kind of things that get people to go like, oh my god. um and we got a lot of the reactions that we wanted. We got
Mo
picking
Sorry.
up objects looks just like having the pivots be at the appropriate locations, like so much work went into making like these admittedly small mechanics, like just as good as we could get them, and we're just glad that people are having fun.
I'm
Yeah,
sure. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
sorry. I was just going to say that the most important thing for me was that even watching all the people play and playing it for myself, I actually having fun in a game that I made with my friends, just enjoyable.
Yeah, it really is, I think, a great thing to strive for and achieve for. One of the models that our team also has, you know, once you got that, you really got the formula there. And so yeah, you know, thank you guys for taking the time to talk to us about your game, show it off. You know, you deserve the award. Be glad of your work. I forgot to mention you have the COVID-19 mask right there on the
Yes,
very
yes. Our
fitting.
ferret is sporting the very fashionable COVID-19
Exactly.
mask.
But yeah, thank you very much for spending your time with us, guys. Enjoy the rest of your night. And yeah, it's a great game. Everyone go play Business of Bandits. All right, everybody. That concludes our GameCon 2021 post show. That concludes GameCon 2021 as a whole. What a year it's been. What a time it's been. Everyone has put so much hard work into their games. Everyone has done such amazing things this year and through such rough times, you know. It's been incredible to see all the work that every single team has put into their games, not just the award winners, all the nominees, all the people who didn't get nominated. Just so much went into this, and you know, I got to say that as a whole, I'm proud of this program and just amazing to see what we've done. You know, big shout outs to all of our professors for supporting us and helping us on this journey. Big shout outs to all of the GDSA team, you know, for all of us who worked on this to bring this event alive for the students and get to showcase their work. Big ups to Isaac, the man who has been behind the scenes for this whole thing since the beginning of the day. He has done a lot of stuff. We've had some hiccups, but he's handled it and he's done it so well. And most importantly, everyone who's made a game this year, everyone who's participated, uh, pat yourselves on the back. Be proud of what you did. Winning an award or not, it doesn't matter. You know, just keep improving on your skills, improving on your craft, and you know, keep doing the thing you love, this game development. And you should really be proud of all the things you've made this year, because it's really been impressive, despite, you know, the rough situation that this year has entailed. So with all that being said, that is a wrap for GameCon 2021. We shall all see you guys next year in GameCon 2022 of April. See you guys around.